Hey y'all, it's Angel, your best friend who happens to be a therapist. I still can't believe they talked me into doing a podcast, but here I am and here we go. I'm not gonna lie to you, we gonna talk about everything. Nothing's off limits, the good, bad, and the ugly. So put your seatbelt on and enjoy the ride. Welcome to I'm Not Gonna Lie to You podcast. So I'm here with some people. Myself, Angel, my husband, Mike, my sister, Dina, my brother-in-law, Gary, and my cousin over here, Momo. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to be known as Momo or some more?
Momo's fine.
Okay. Momo. She got two names.
Damn.
That's a third name.
3 days.
That name.
Apparently 3 days.
Depending on where you met her.
Right.
Damn.
That's a whole nother person. This is going to be a whole nother episode.
Damn.
For real.
So we've been drinking. Needless to say, this
Taste the drink.
is like number 4.
Damn. You make a beat.
4.
This may be number like 5 or 6 for me.
I lost count. We've been drinking.
A lot. The topic, you try to switch the topic, but the topic is marriage.
Yeah, good topic.
I say the topic should be happy spouse, happy house. We don't say happy wife, happy life anymore. That's passe. Am I rhyming? We just watched
Bars.
What,
hurry back over here.
I was saying we just watched a couple of Harry Mack videos, so I think I just dropped some bars.
Okay.
So I say happy spouse, happy house. What y'all think about that?
I'm cool with that.
I feel like that's for everybody, right?
Oh, hold up. It was a It encompasses,
I mean, it goes both
wife,
ways.
both people, both parties in the marriage. So it's not just about the wife.
Right, like because
And it's not just about the husband. It's about each other, making each other.
Do
happy.
we do that though?
But as you know, it's always been mainly happy wife. That's
Happy
been
life.
the whole
Happy
happy
life.
life.
Yeah, happy wife, happy life. That's why I said that's passe though.
But
We don't.
you saying that, but is it still that though?
Well,
But we're in 2024. It should be. Happy
Nina's
house.
still like, wait, there's a
It
fucking
should-
room over
it
here.
should be.
It should be.
It should be.
It should be.
It should be, but I feel like it's still, even though you're saying it's passe, I still think it's happy wife, happy life. I still feel like that's the mantra of society.
Okay, hold on. Can we address the
Please,
So-
go.
Go ahead, 'cause you said, So we need to get your perspective.
I agree with Mike.
There you go.
Well, maybe that's.
See, that's that shit. That's that. So look, all night they've been doing that back and forth. Like, man, don't even do it.
Because it goes back to what I said, happy wife, happy life.
Well,
But
I
we're
would
saying
say
happy house, happy spouse.
right, but I would.
Y'all
If, you're
say
gonna-
it, that's what sounds good, but it's really about the wife's happiness.
if that was the case, I would still be married.
Well, I don't know that situation. I'm just talking
I'm just
about
saying.
in general.
I'm just saying I would still be married because if it's happy wife, happy life, I'd probably still be married.
That's my point. That is the point.
So wait.
It's happy wife, happy life, but it shouldn't be just happy wife. It needs to be both.
So let's. I just want to clarify some things. So Mike, no, I have to clarify something for the audience.
Oh, go ahead.
Mike and I have been married for 13 years and 2 days.
Let me take it up, Jay.
Dina and Gary have been married for 7 years?
9.
9?
9 years in October.
A little bit better than that, though. He was like 9.
She did hit the 9. She about to say
It'll be
Nina.
9 in
5, it was
October.
like 5.
So 9 years and a couple of weeks for them. And
9.
you were married for how long?
7 years.
7 years and divorced for how long?
A year and 1 month.
So she was married for 7 years and then divorced for a year. So I needed to say that out loud so that they understand the perspective of what we're speaking from. Okay. All right, now go ahead, boo.
I forgot my thought now. Shit.
Okay,
All right, let's get back on topic. Stay on topic. I gotta keep y'all on topic.
Okay.
Go.
It was on you.
Happy
It was?
spouse, happy house versus
Oh, yeah, there you go.
happy wife, happy life. But y'all, meaning Mike and Gary, have been talking shit behind our backs all day.
I agree with that. Back it up. Why is it talking shit? That's the question.
Because y'all been doing it in secret.
What's
y'all
talking?
been,
I ain't doing nothing in secret.
No,
I'll tell you right
y'all-
to your face.
Y'all have been basically making comments like
Y'all
anytime
haven't.
the dudes, I'm playing.
Okay, go ahead. Go.
Gary and Mike have been making little comments like if we say something and y'all like, don't even go there.
So it's really behind, all right, dude, just don't engage because
You don't want to
there's no point to going further. Happy wife, just
Do
keep
y'all
it
feel like
happy. Just
y'all
keep her
ain't
happy.
gonna win if y'all do?
Yeah,
it?
some
You feel
arguments
you're not gonna
because
win?
it's pick your fight. Some arguments ain't worth having because you ain't gonna win.
Do y'all not think that y'all
Being-
win fights?
It ain't.
Nah.
For me, it's not even.
I ain't winning no fights.
It's just about.
Angel is undefeated.
Yeah, it's the battle even work.
Even when I win, I lose.
What does that mean for the people?
I
That
just feel
means
like
that everything you say is right. Shit.
But I
That is
just
not
wanna say,
true.
I just want to say, like, it shouldn't even be a win or lose type thing. It should just be having open communication and actively listening to your partner, and then like listen to understand, not listen to like respond,
I
right?
tell people that all the
Because
time.
it's like you already have a response that you're ready to just say, and you're not really listening to what the person is saying, so you can actually learn from what they're saying
Right, this
and
isn't
then
a court of law.
improve. Because if you don't, then what do you really have? Because communication solves pretty much everything.
And I agree with you. But 100% of the time, that don't flow like that. It should always be like that. And I agree. Like, I think we practice that a lot. But there are points where it don't always go that way. It should be 100% like I said, but I don't go like that all the time. You know, people communicate, and it depends on what emotional state they're in, if they want to hear what you have to say, or if they're receiving what you have to say. Or like if they're angry, all that matters in the environment or how that's going to come out.
You're right.
Because people aren't, if you mad,
We're not robots.
you're not as willing to hear what somebody else has to say.
When you're on
if
10.
You communicate. So I think if you that mad, it needs to be like, all right, we need to step away and revisit this and then talk about it. Because when you mad, you ain't trying to hear nothing about it.
Although there have been times where I've said that and you're like, no, let's talk about it now.
What time
I don't say it like that, but I don't know who that nigga was, but who that dude was, but that's my point. When you angry, sometimes, but after her saying it a couple times, then but don't get it twisted. She be in her yelling and stuff. I'm like, why you yelling? I'm talking calm and you yelling. But she don't hear me when I say that. But it's all about each other calming each other down, because it goes, like you said, it's communication. It goes both ways, and it's hard. It ain't like an easy thing. It ain't easy for me to be like, oh yeah, we mad. Let's take a break, and you be like, oh okay, you're right. I am angry. Let's go take a break. It don't go like that.
Okay. But is she yelling or is she passionate?
No, she's yelling.
Okay,
Don't try to make her passionate.
It's
She's
both.
passionate,
It's
yelling.
both.
She's yelling passionately.
But I think the walking away, okay, if you say let's take a break and come back and talk about it, that's cool. But we got to make sure we're coming back and talking about it. Sometimes I feel like let's take a break and talk about this later is an out, so we don't have to talk about it.
That is very true. And I have to say
That happens a lot.
In my marriage, that happened a lot, and we never addressed it. So things actually mounted, and it was internalized. And so when shit really hit the fan, it was like
all that stuff came out.
It just came out.
Yeah, but I will have to say, in our marriage, that does actually happen because I ain't the person that like to let it go. I don't let it go.
But everybody's not like that, and like
I know.
you. So, what advice do you have if you're dealing with a situation where maybe one or both parties don't really like to deal with everybody? So everybody, you know, deals with issues differently, right? Some people are so used to sweeping things under the rug, they're just kind of used to that. So confrontation is not easy. So how do you counsel a couple, so to speak?
For this particular situation, I would tell them to set a timer. So then that way, when the timer goes off, you have to come back and address the elephant in the room.
Man,
so there is no...
We need to incorporate that.
Why? Because we already do it. We just don't need a timer.
No, we need a timer.
Why do we need a timer?
Because I'll be like, you ready? I'm not ready to talk.
Well...
You need to get ready. Because I got shit to say sometimes.
But you gotta end up talking though.
We always end up
Just like
we
can't.
It never
goes
unaddressed.
We are good in that point because she has a need to say what she has to say, and I do too.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the type to let that shit. Like I need to say what the fuck. Can I say fuck?
You can say I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
I was joking. Fuck. But I'm saying, you know, we have a need to say what we need to say. So it's not a big deal in that aspect. But to your point, everything needs to be addressed, especially if you married, because, yo, this shit is forever. I ain't got time to be holding on to shit. I'm going to put that on the table because who am I hiding from at this point? We need to talk about it and get it over with so we can move on, because I ain't about holding none of that shit, because like I said, if I got to live with you, I want that shit clear.
And that's true, because what I learned from my marriage or the divorce, I would say, is that I wasn't keeping it real with myself. So there were a lot of things that I didn't bring to the table because I didn't want to address certain things, only because I was afraid to say them, or I was afraid of what my partner would say. And I think it was like a trust issue. So because of that, I mean, it just didn't get far. The communication didn't get far. Like, I wouldn't open up and say anything, or if he would say something, I wasn't listening. I'm not going to make it seem like everything was on him. I wasn't perfect either, but I do know where my faults were when it came to that.
You know them now because it's after?
Yeah. I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah. You had to, like, look back and say, and analyze, what could I have done better?
Right.
But I do agree, a vital aspect of this is being honest with yourself first. If you can't be honest with yourself, you damn sure can't be honest with anybody else. Whether it's your spouse or friend or family member, you cannot. If you're not honest with yourself first, you cannot be honest with other people.
I feel like I didn't know myself well enough to even be honest with myself. Like, if I didn't know myself, I didn't know what I was capable of, what I even liked, what I didn't like, so I couldn't be honest with myself. And so if I can be honest with myself, like you said, you can't be honest with the next person. So it was just a lot of personal development that needed to take place. I probably shouldn't have even been married, if I'm being honest with you.
So that is a lesson, right? So if you don't know yourself, it's not a good idea to get married. Because you're going to learn yourself in some ugly ways. Because that other person,
your reflection.
Yeah, because your
reflection.
Right, your spouse is going to be on the opposite end of that.
Even if you do know yourself, you find out new things about yourself when you married too, though. Like
that's true.
It ain't like things you know that might not be, apparent to you until you get married. Like, oh shit. But at the same token, when you married, it's a lot of shit you gotta face. In, like you said, things that you might not want to realize about yourself. Like you said, just opening up to somebody else is a whole nother challenge. Doing it to self and realizing your own things that you need to work on or things you like and stuff like that. That's your own personal journey, but it's a whole nother journey when you have to share that with somebody. You have to be comfortable enough or trust them enough,
vulnerable,
to give them that information. And then it also means a lot what they do with that information. If you give them that
and they weaponize
it,
fucked.
Especially with a dude,
You're fucked.
if I tell you something and then you throw that shit back in my face, you done.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be
very
hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for me as a man to give you that, to open that door for you again.
Yeah. It's going to
So
shut
you
that
have
person
to.
down.
So when a man opens up to a female or a wife or a girlfriend, whatever that is, you better really take care on how you do that information, because that means a lot.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Because not all men do that, and so when they finally do, they like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and because it takes courage to do that. And then when I do it, and then you like, oh, and then you throw it back in my face, I ain't saying it, but in my mind, I'm like, bitch, okay. It's a different feeling.
Oh, so that's what y'all say inside.
Hell yeah.
Y'all say,
Just like you beating me up and killing me in your head. That's how it is.
Oh my God.
But I'm
Why
saying
do you have to go back
that's a
to
real
that?
thing, but it's
She doesn't know.
So you think that's why men are so guarded?
men are guarded because, well, let's be clear.
That shit starts when we are kids.
But
though.
men are chiefs. But
We're
we
taught
well,
to
hold
show
on,
your
let's be
emotions.
clear.
Be strong, don't
Men
cry, be a man.
men are, yeah, you always are on guard. You always have to stand straight and be, you have to give a certain vibe. And even with females and males, because you need to, as you I know you heard, I know how you heard before, respect is everything with a man.
That's true.
So if my woman doesn't respect me enough to use what I've given her to use it against me, it's a different, it's just like, where do we stand? Who are we to, because it's just like, you are the one person that I trust in everything. And if you take that trust and you twist it, then I'm not, it's not that I don't trust you, but my guard's still up. It ain't 100% no more.
Well, no.
It ain't.
It is trust.
That's a trust.
Then
They broke your trust.
Yeah, that's a form of breaking it. If I trust you with something and
trying to
you
be
turn
nice.
around, we're not here to be nice. We're here to tell the truth.
I'm telling the truth now.
I know
I'm
you
all
are.
about the truth, motherfucker.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. So that's true for women.
Well, I'm giving you truth.
I'm not-
Look, y'all know me.
So that is true for females too. If we are vulnerable enough to be honest with you about something and you weaponize it against us later, it will shut us down. So that is true for both females and males.
That's true for just people.
But let me ask you, do you think it's more so for men than women?
So,
Because I think men are more like,
reluctant to be
I-
vulnerable.
yeah, in general, because it's a manly thing.
I
Like,
think it's an individual thing.
So I think that for, especially, because we were just kind of talking about this earlier with the kids, right? Especially for like black men. I'm gonna use black men because that's what I know, right? So that's what we know. But I'm sure this goes for all men.
You're black, by the way.
But when you guys are little,
Was it a question?
when you all are little, y'all are taught about, certain things you don't want to do, right? It's not boyish to do certain things, play with certain toys, and then it gets to a point where, emotions, you don't want to come off looking soft. We teach our little boys, don't cry, man up, don't do that. And then as they become men, then we want them to show emotions, and it's so hard because now you turn off the switch and now you want to turn it back on, right? And then I think in our community especially, if a man exhibits too much emotions, then their sexuality starts to get questioned. So
Or they
then,
soft. Or they call it
they
soft.
that was
right. So then, and so then you don't want to be that
That was deep.
vulnerable because you don't want nobody to play
Look
with
at
you
you
like
soft.
that.
Yeah,
Correct.
I
And
got you.
I mean,
I
not
never
to
even
say,
thought of
So
that.
that
That's
wall
crazy.
is built.
so that wall is built, and then it's
Yeah.
like now we're trying to break it down. And I do feel like y'all generation are doing a better job at like trying to knock that stuff down because the generation before you was so hard. and so rigid and so tough. Even with your sons, the way you guys are with your sons, it's probably different. And this is no disrespect, but it's probably different than the way your dads were with you. It's probably a little bit more softness and a little bit more gentleness.
Yeah.
Y'all are still keeping them like y'all want them to be.
You know what I think it is?
But it's,
to your point, I think it's a balance. I think the balance was off.
It was.
Because
maybe because of what they had to go through.
Correct.
Remember?
Yeah, they went through
they went through a lot of shit.
It was always about, it was always on some man shit. But I am different with my son. Like, I tell him I love him and I kiss him because he's my son and I want him to know. But I also teach him what it is to be a man and to, and how to navigate.
When to man up, when to be
but
vulnerable.
It's a balance, right?
Do you know
I feel like.
Do you know what that's called?
What's that called?
Emotional intelligence.
Oh yeah, girl. I teach that every goddamn day.
Emotional intelligence.
In the house, outside the house.
But it's a real thing. Like I said,
is.
I mean, but like, to be honest, to your point, my father was raised different. It's a sign of the times. Like back in the day, they came in a different time. It was more like, man, don't cry. Man, don't do this. Man, don't do this.
They also lived in a different era.
But that's my point. It was a different time. Like this time, but it's still a balance because you still can't be soft. He still can't be soft out here because this world is not easy for him.
They will eat his ass up, chew him out, and spit him the fuck out. And we can't let that happen to our child.
We're not talking about that.
Podcast. Check it out.
What? Are you a sponsor?
I gotta add something to it.
Right, you're an ad. You got 30 more seconds, cuz. Go. The ad time.
Girl, you've been quiet. Do you want to add something?
But
Not to you podcast. Check it out. How many times it come out? I agree with everything y'all saying. I'm just sitting back learning. I'm learning. And listen, sometimes you gotta do that.
Sometimes you do have to do that. No, seriously. That is another vital point. You do have to be willing to listen, like she was saying. Yeah, that's what she was saying earlier. Listen to understand and not listen to defend. So, you do.
hold on. What? Are we still on topic?
It was happy wife.
In a good direction. It was a good direction. But
no, this is on topic because this is about happy spouse, happy house.
You got the man.
Well, we talking about the male emotion.
We talking about my emotions. Look, we talking about my emotions.
But wait, but to your point though, Mike, it is harder for a man to be vulnerable because of how you guys were raised. And I feel like when a man finally opens up, a woman has to be able to cherish that. For me, I feel that way because I have dealt with my share of dudes who refuse to open up, and it's like pulling teeth. And then finally, when they do, I try to cherish that. Mm-hmm. But then I deal with certain men who just can't open up, and I don't know if it's me. Maybe I can't get them to open up.
Well, no, it's a red flag. That just means they're not ready for what you want.
Well, I will say this.
Period.
I'm going to say this. If a dude does open up to you and share something with you, and you play that right, then you got one. You know what I'm saying?
But if they don't.
But if you don't, then you kind of back at square one.
You're just not the one.
Nah, it ain't even that. You just back to square one. He got his guard up just like he did when you first met him.
He's not ready.
But that's the same thing what I feel like with a female. Like, it's certain things, there's certain cues that you look for or in a situation, and you're like, oh, okay, boom. And then you go forward, and it's either a check or it's a flag. Like, oh. But as you move along in your relationship, you either progress or you move back. And I feel like with a guy, if you take that trust, you move back. You move back a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on what you do with that. What?
I didn't say nothing.
I feel like you talking shit.
I am not. I haven't said not one word.
We can look at the tape though. Hey,
do
y'all see that? Happy husband life.
Happy life.
Yeah. Y'all, they see that shit.
I feel like I did that a lot. I feel like I did the happy husband, happy life. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I'm not perfect though, but I felt like I was quiet. I allowed my husband to like just do whatever and say whatever, and I didn't have a voice in my marriage, so I couldn't say anything. But I never asked for anything either. I was just one of those easygoing wives that went along with everything until finally I wanted something,
and you didn't provide it.
And when I wanted it, when I was able to verbalize it, because I felt like I just couldn't be honest with myself. Remember that part? I was finally honest with myself, and I said the one thing that I wanted, and then he was like, no. And not only was it a no, I'm going to do something about it, no. So that whatever
you want to make sure it doesn't happen.
I'm going to make sure whatever you ask me for won't happen.
So,
wow.
So I felt like that was
But you did acknowledge that you played a part in it.
I did. I wasn't honest with myself.
Right. And I think that kind of just goes back to the importance of being honest with what your wants, your needs, requirements, whatever that is of your spouse, your partner, but also like for yourself, right? Like, I think especially when you first meet somebody, I think when you're at a certain age in life, you start kind of seeing like people around you and different situations, and you kind of like, you know what, I think I want that, or I think I'm ready. You might be willing to kind of silence some of those needs and wants because you're looking for partnership.
Well, I think part of it was, if I'm being honest with you, I never thought marriage was going to ever happen for me.
Okay.
So, date number one was like, I got my one kid, I don't want no kids. Because, honestly, I just went for the free food. I didn't think it was going to go past. I didn't even think it was going to go past date number one. No. But if I'm being honest with myself here,
you're not lying.
I went for the free food, right? And y'all know,
right,
a bitch likes to eat.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I went for the free food, and so it was like, oh, what are you looking for? Well, I don't want no more kids. I already got my one. I'm good. But then it turned into a whole marriage. We had a house. I had my career change. I went into my second career. Things were like falling into line, and I was like, I want another kid.
And segue into
that's not fair. Right. So that wasn't fair to yourself, right? Because you weren't honest with yourself, so you weren't able to be honest with your spouse at the time, and that ended up not being fair for you or him,
right?
Because it's not something that he bargained for and that you were okay with, and then you later on decided you weren't okay with it.
Yeah, I wasn't honest with myself in the beginning, but like I said, the honest thing about it was I went for the free food, so I didn't really think
you didn't think it was going to go beyond and get there.
So when it got to the point where like, okay, now we are talking about getting married, do you think that it was a point where you like, okay, maybe now, but I'm not going to say anything, or you really just were not?
So let me be honest here too.
Okay.
I was previously engaged. It never.
Okay.
It never went to the
altar. So
I was like, oh, we're engaged. It's probably not gonna get to the wedding.
Got it. So you still were like, I don't know if this is happening.
It was like well into the marriage where I was like, oh shit, I'm really married now. And it was actually like, okay, I feel stable enough to want this.
I have a question. Do you think if you would have done premarital counseling, it would have been different?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think a lot of shit would have been different had we went through the full
premarital counseling.
And if I'm being honest, I think we probably would still be married had we did the therapy before the divorce. Like, had we did the therapy the way we were supposed to have done it, but he kind of didn't want to continue because of my attitude. You know, because I can be a lot. And so.
Well, we know that.
Yeah, I can be a lot.
I feel like we all can be a lot.
Yeah. So
all of us can be a lot at some point.
So I feel like, you know, with the whole.
Yeah, y'all talking for yourself.
Oh, y'all can be a lot. Then, Gary, we're not going to do this.
Wait a minute. So y'all not
You can't
allowed?
talk for me.
Ever?
Hey, look, I'm on the podcast. Happy wife, happy life. You know what I'm saying? So,
Are y'all saying y'all can't be a lot?
Who?
Y'all can't be a lot?
Oh, we can? What were we talking about?
I don't fucking remember.
Back then, we not gonna lie to you.
Okay, so Mike brought up a good point, a vital point, right, of a successful marriage being when the male is vulnerable, not using it to weaponize him, and we also determined that is mutual. Right. Is there anything from the female perspective that is important to us that is vital to a successful, happy, healthy marriage? Other than being honest with yourself, that was another vital point, being honest with yourself, because you can't be honest with others until you're honest with yourself. Is there anything else?
Well, we probably already talked about this, but maybe just, and Mike talked about it too, but like, especially when you're in a marriage, like vulnerable, the man, like you said, being able to have vulnerable conversations. Like if we talk, one of our struggles, and I'll be very transparent, is sometimes I'll ask Gary something or we want to have a conversation and his default is, I don't know. To me, when you shut down like that, it doesn't, for me, because I like to talk. Everybody doesn't know me.
She
Talk.
Oh, you know.
So when I be trying to get a conversation, and sometimes I do come out of left field. I know that, and it might be like, what the hell are you talking about? But if your default is always, I don't know, for someone who's like me, who's a talker, it almost feels like you're kind of shutting me out. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I asked the question about, it's okay to say, can we talk about this later? But like really going back to it is important, I think. Not that cliffhanger. I already know what you're about to say.
What?
What are you about to say?
I don't know.
Can I say something? Look, I can say something. Oh, okay.
You know I got something to say. I always got something to
What?
say.
I mean, that's how she feel.
But how do you feel?
What do you want to do to resolve it?
I'm cracking up because I know what
Like,
I don't know. I guess, well, sometimes when we say I don't know, it's because we don't know. Because sometimes y'all want to talk about stuff that we ain't really thinking about. So when you say something like,
hey, Mike,
I'm trying to tell you. No, let me say. Because no, seriously, y'all will say something, and to be honest, y'all are more, I ain't gonna say cerebral, but y'all thinking about shit we ain't thinking about. We more streamlined and simplified in what we think. So when y'all's like, so what you think about it? It's like, I ain't even thinking about it. So that ain't something I think. So if you say something and I say, I don't know, then it's like, I really don't know. Now you can start talking about it, and then I might form some opinions on it, and I'll give you some feedback on it. But right at that point, I hadn't been thinking about it.
I think that's okay.
I may have never thought about it.
I think that's okay. The problem is the follow-up.
Correct.
Right? So the initial, I don't know, let me think about it. Right? And then, but after you think about it, you do have to follow up.
Are you thinking about it? Or I don't know, your scapegoat, so you don't have to talk about it.
It may not even be a deep, like, in-depth question. It might just be some random shit that you like, I never thought about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but after you think about it,
So
you gotta come back.
Follow up on that too?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
You gotta follow up on everything. You know why? Because what's small to her or what's small to you is big to her, and what's small to you is, you know what I'm saying? Like vice versa. So, you do have to follow up on it all. I don't want to follow up on it all. Sometimes I just don't give a fuck. But I have to, listen and respond.
But it's also a learning opportunity as well for the other party, right?
Y'all always give a fuck. That's the problem. Men don't give a fuck. So that'd be the problem. We don't give a fuck. We don't we don't be tripping over everything. Women trip off a lot more than men do.
So listen, let's be clear, okay?
Let's be clear.
Adam was made from the dirt. So you
calling us dirt? Hold up.
No. What I'm saying is males are very concrete. Right? And that we were made from your ribs. So we are very emotional. Yes. And so that is what balances out all the time.
But
so it's okay.
But okay. But y'all need to know that about us.
Agree.
So not agree. Because y'all exactly. Because that's what I'm saying.
What the hell?
This is the thing. Hold up. This is the thing. Y'all talk to us, but y'all expect us to respond as if we're female. I feel like sometimes, like y'all want us to engage and talk. Nigga, we ain't doing all that.
Okay, so
we just gonna figure it out. Y'all want a female reaction from a dude, and that ain't what you gonna get.
But see, I think that's what we talked about the emotions, because it's not a female reaction. So I guess for me, as men, right, aside from us being physical and sucking and fucking, what do y'all? Hey. I mean, let's because y'all are saying that the emotional
is talking my language.
Stuff
He's talking my love language now. We still okay?
So what is it? What do as men? What do you guys need from your spouses to be happy?
I think
from men.
I think that I've learned from as a woman. I think I know what a man wants.
But I'm asking the men. I want the men to answer.
Okay.
Hold up. What's the question? You threw me off with the sucking and fucking. Go ahead.
Aside from that, as men, because y'all are the men, what do you need from your spouse? What do you want from your spouse? Like what kind of...
Hey, this is the funny part. You say that niggas like, they just went to dumbfounded. I thought we was talking about sucking and fucking. No, 100 though. No, to be honest, well, my opinion is, besides the physical, it's just, we want somebody that's just understanding. Everything don't have to be a knife fight. I feel like guys don't trip off a lot, and then females get triggered because we ain't tripping. And then that becomes a thing, right? So it's about finding that middle ground on both sides. Like, I know we don't trip off a lot, but we have to understand what's important to y'all. But y'all have to understand that we just, I don't know. I feel like we so simple. I know y'all might find that as an insult, but we simple. Like, we ain't tripping. Most of my Angel, we can argue about this, but I ain't arguing until you start arguing. Like, I ain't tripping. But that's an issue, though, because I'm not tripping.
There's some things on the other side, too. Some of the stuff. Like Angel just said, like, something could be small, and you have to address everything. You have to address it,
but that's what I'm saying. It's a balance to that, though.
It like that.
I'm definitely...
Because you just like that, she tripping.
Right.
I be a lot of times, I'm just like, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Whether it can be small, but it's big to you. Or it means something to you. Yeah, it does. That's what I'm saying. It's a balance to that shit. A lot of stuff, we just be like, God, what the fuck? Like, I ain't even thinking about that type shit.
So I'm going to ask the question again. What is it from a man perspective, do you need? Because, like, women, we like that emotional, intellectual connection. We want to talk, have conversations. I know you want to answer, Mama, but I need the men to respond. I know you want to answer for the men. Because she's like, I can answer for the men, but I want them to really respond. And then don't.
I think that hitting the points earlier is like, okay, well, physical, we want that. The respect part, you want that. And you need somebody that you can trust, that you know is going to be in your corner no matter what. I think that's, for a man, that's kind of what you want. You know what I'm saying? And after that, it's just like, whatever.
Hold up. Let me just piggyback off that. I think that's a big point that women don't realize, that how far that goes with men. Like, somebody that got your back, that when you are vulnerable with them, that they don't use it against you. And that goes as far as saying slick comments, like popping shots, and don't get it twisted, especially if you married to somebody, your physical reaction to things, we pick up, just like you pick up on our cues, we pick up on your cues. So when you make the, and all that body motion is all received. You might as well have said it. It don't mean nothing that you didn't say it. If your body cue says it all when I say something or I make a suggestion and you give it, you might as well have said it. And that matters in the long run of things. So that shit goes a long way, right? Like you have to know that just like so I guess it is still an emotional thing with men. It's just how we perceive. It's all about I think we're more visual. Even like physical, but even like your body language is like a physical thing that we pick up on cues. Like I've noticed the difference. Like if I come in the house and she's feeling some type of way or she's not in the best of moods, it changes my whole mood. And she'll tell you like especially from Tuesday to Thursday.
Wednesday.
Oh, Tuesday, Wednesday. Because Thursday's her Friday. But those days, she's different.
I am locked
She's locked into business mode.
Business mode.
But,
you know.
But I don't like that.
Checking off all the boxes
that's
that
cool.
need to be
That's
done.
cool and all. But nigga, I go to work too, and I'm not bringing that. You can't bring that. You can't do that. You can work and you can grind, but that doesn't affect how you treat everybody else. That's what it is. Nigga, that's what you always see the movies about the nigga that work too much and all he do is work, and then he come and it affects the home life. It's the same shit. Not because you a female, that don't stop you from being, accountable for that shit. Work is work. Nigga, I'll be stressed. If I come home and you still looking at me like, why you alright? Everything good? And I'm expected to be like, yeah, it's cool. We working it out. Nigga, I expect the same.
I know, but I asked you that.
Nigga, and I asked you that. And you be like, I'm grinding. You don't see me? I'm concentrating. No, motherfucker, you can't say that.
Is that how I
feel? Get off my bridge. This is my swamp. Oh.
So let me ask you
that is because he wants to fucking talk while I'm reading something. Like,
so when y'all say y'all need somebody to respect you, and if you're vulnerable,
respect is everything.
What does vulnerability look like for y'all? Like because y'all both are like, well, if I open up to you and if I'm vulnerable to you, then you use that against me. But what does it look like for you to be vulnerable? Is that talking emotional stuff, or what does that look like?
I don't know. I think that's personal. I think that's personal.
I think it's individual.
I think it's an individual thing.
Yeah.
I feel like if you in tune with your spouse and whoever you with at that time, you know when they open it up and when they giving you something that you need to handle with care. It ain't like a secretive thing like, is this it? Nah, you know.
But what Mike said earlier,
they
don't want no shots popped. It don't even matter. If it
was
a vulnerable thing or not.
I don't think y'all realize.
No motherfucking shot.
So let me just say this for future preference. When you pop a shot or you say something that's borderline unappreciative, you feel that from your spouse. It ain't no secret. So what you do with that says a lot. Either you address it. You know what makes it worse? When you feel it, when like you'll say something and your spouse or your man's like, damn, shorty, you ain't even appreciate it. And then you take it and you spin it. And then instead of being like, I wasn't doing that, you get a defensive or you get an attitude. Then it's like, yo, that's a thing. Like, but that's I'm saying, that's a man thing. It's like, damn, I'm giving you that, and that's what you do with it. You make it into something even more. It's like, yo, that's a stressful shit.
You know what I learned? I learned to shut the fuck up.
I was going to say, let Momo, because Momo wants to speak.
Yeah, go, Mo.
So I know that you said you want to hear from the guys what the guys want. So they had given you 3 things, but the 4th thing I wanted to, so they said the physical, they said respect, and trust as far as vulnerability, but appreciation is the fourth one. But I feel like appreciation goes both ways.
That part.
So like, and all of it actually goes both ways. Let's be real, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody wants the physical. Everybody wants the trust, the respect, and the appreciation. So I can recall that I popped shots, if you will, when I would come home from work and there would be dishes piled up in the sink, and then I would have to come home and then make dinner and then do laundry and do all the things where my spouse was at home because he would work. He was self-employed, so he would work, go in the office or whatever, do whatever he had to do, but come home and then just lay in the bed. But then I felt unappreciated because I would come home from after working 8 hours and then fighting traffic to and fro for 2 hours and then coming home and I'm like, you couldn't even do one thing to help me, you know, and then I have to get up and do it all over again the next day.
So that's the balance.
The popping shots, whereas I would be angry. But then it was like, okay, no, we're going to have a family meeting. We're going to communicate about this. I'm not going to, because I don't want to have that attitude. I don't want you to come home and feel the tension because I'm giving off this attitude or whatever. Because it don't make you feel good when you come home. You ain't going to want to be physical with me. You know, I'm not going to want to respect you. You're not appreciating me. And then where's the trust? So then I just be like, okay, fine. I'm going to have a family meeting. So it'd be all of us, the kids and everything, talking about, okay, who's going to do what on each day, splitting up the chores. So it will feel like it's like divide and conquer.
But shouldn't love and respect always be there no matter what? Even if, like, I don't know, I might be sounding stupid. Like, even if y'all beefing or whatever y'all going through, shouldn't that at least be there? Like, love for your spouse and then that certain level of respect. I'm not saying you can't get angry. I'm not saying you can't be upset. But shouldn't that always be there?
It should definitely
always.
Yes, it should always be there.
Feeling like you said, like, so I think, I mean, I don't know. I think we do a good job with that. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a terrible communicator, period.
You're better.
But my wife I recognize that she's made me better. Now, where I might have been a 1 or a 2, I might only be a 4 now, but I'm way better than I was 9 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to that, but damn, I'm drunk, so I forgot where I was about to go with it. But I was about to go somewhere good with it, but I fucked it up. But
then no, you said the love and the respect should always be there.
So I don't know if I would say like you're disrespectful in the sense that you'd be like, man, fuck you, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, but sometimes like when you dismiss what someone has to say, it can feel disrespectful. Or if you don't want to hear it.
But am I disrespecting you?
If you're not listening to what I have to say, then it's disrespectful. Like, you don't want to be cut off or me, like, basically ignoring what you have to say. As a man, you would feel disrespected. So.
I know I've been disrespectful when I've been on 10.
Oh, I know
I've had this say
but I mean, we don't call each other
apologies
our
in many
names
different
or
ways.
Like, you know, shut the fuck up.
Can I
bitch.
say this?
We don't do that.
I'm gonna let y'all finish.
Like we've never gotten to the point where we're like, man, shut the fuck up, or you know, like that kind of stuff. Like we don't take it there. But I do think sometimes if it gets to that point, and as context, we don't get to that point often. But when we have gotten there, and I will say, we're not hearing each other. We're not.
That's on 10.
Yeah, we're not hearing each other.
But that's the point of the break.
Yeah, we do. We'll be like, I can't. We're not doing this right now.
Yeah.
But the other person, if they want to get something out, might feel disrespected. But it's never like out of our name or, you know, none of that shit.
It's not abusive. Correct. Because that's when you starting to get toward abusive. Yeah, you don't get abusive. Right.
Well, it was that one time, y'all, when he got drunk and he was like, y'all got to excuse her because she's not in her right mind right now. And I was sober and this man was drunk. But I was apparently problem. We were not married yet.
So they don't count.
Vote. Was that disrespectful?
Right.
You vote. Cast your vote. Not gonna lie to you.
Hey, you know what? Man, you giving out shout outs.
You know what I think a lot of people that go hand in hand with the communication, especially men, is learning to apologize.
Ooh, yes.
I get snaps for that.
Because if you say but,
I think everybody. Nobody knows how to say, my bad, I'm sorry. That's a big deal. Nobody learns how, I ain't gonna lie. In the beginning of our marriage, it took us a minute to get to that point.
We got better with that. Happy life, happy wife. Learn how to apologize.
Because you was the one that wasn't able to apologize at first. So don't hit me with that shit. I said he gave us a shout out like we doing better with that, and he was like,
I'm going to lie to you podcast.
you not.
He looked at me like, I thought we were doing better. Let's be clear. Let's talk about how to apologize, right?
Okay.
It's taking accountability for what you've done.
Amen.
Not saying bullshit like, well, I'm sorry I made you feel.
Yeah.
No, that.
Oh, shit.
No, time out.
Did you just say that?
I used to do it.
You still do that?
I don't even.
Oh,
If I come
she lied to y'all.
I do not.
You lied to y'all right there. You
said.
lied to your people. Apologize.
Yeah, to the people. Apologize.
Apologize.
I apologize if I made y'all feel that. Thanks for listening to I'm Not Gonna Lie to You podcast. Subscribe for more insightful and down-to-earth content. And don't forget to follow us on social media at An Angel's Touch 8 on Instagram and An Angel's Touch Therapy on Facebook.